You are listening to episode number 66 with Miss Ebony Moore.
If you're someone who wants to make major changes in their life, someone who wants to achieve their goals, or maybe you're someone who knows this is not as good as it gets, but you have no idea where to start, on the Reinvent You podcast, we explore different types of people, their successes and failures, and how they reinvented themselves to create the life they love. It's our hope that from hearing their stories, that you too may have more insight into what it takes to build a life that you envision for yourself. Here to help you do that is performance and life coach Travia Stewart.
My guest on the Reinvent You podcast today is the host of Bosswife.live. She is a confidence coach and she's also a business owner owning her own modeling studio. She works with women through encouraging them, inspiring them to be self-motivated. She works with entrepreneurs. She works with mompreneurs. And she also, through her work, focuses on living a healthy lifestyle. Welcome to the Reinvent You podcast, Miss Ebony Moore. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for having me on here, Terea. How are you?
I'm really, really good. And I love that, have you ever, I think it's called code switching. Have you ever heard of code switching? So like
Yes.
whenever I'm like, this is so black of me. Whenever I'm talking to somebody like they're a Caucasian or somebody, it's like, I don't get that cool and hip and stuff. But now I hear you like, hey, so I'm like, I got permission to be here. We gonna code switch, baby. So very cool, very cool. So Ebony, I would love it if you could start off the episode with giving my audience a little bit of context. I already said you're a confidence coach. You own your own modeling studio, but that's big stuff right there. What was your journey to becoming that confidence coach and owning your own modeling studio?
Okay. Well, thank you for asking. So my owning my own modeling studio, my journey was I was actually a model. I started modeling at 12 years old, and I modeled up until 19. My husband and I got married at 19, right out of high school.
Nice.
And we immediately started our family. So, and he definitely didn't want me to model anymore because I was traveling and doing a lot of things. And so once my kids started growing up, I noticed that they were very into modeling and acting and theater. So we live in Chattanooga. And so we went back and forth to Atlanta, Chattanooga, to Atlanta, Chattanooga. And for them to be so young, there wasn't really anything for them to do here. So we went to a lot of auditions and stuff like that. And they always loved them. They always wanted to keep their pictures and do callbacks. They were like, oh, I need you to go home and work on this, and I need you to go back and work on this. And for us to come back to Chattanooga, there was nowhere for them to do that here. And by me being in the industry, I'm like, you can't just let certain skills sit because then they get dormant and, you just lose them.
Yeah.
So the older they got more into theater. We did that a whole lot, a whole lot. And so my daughter is still very much interested in modeling. So I was like, you know what? It's still a very big passion for me. I was still teaching modeling at different churches and organizations here in Chattanooga. So I was like, God was just like, I'm going to close one door. I actually lost my job during the pandemic. Wow. And it was extremely devastating, devastating. I've never lost a job in my life. And I'm a certified medical assistant. So I work in cardiology. And when that door closed, I think I was in the bed for about a week because I couldn't grasp what just happened, Right. And so one of my coworkers, she actually sent me a video on Messenger, and it was about a girl who lost her job, her life. She felt like her life was ending, and she had this really, really great passion for photography. So she started taking pictures, and then she noticed other people started noticing her taking pictures. So then they started paying her for a picture. Then she started, marketing herself as a photographer, and it just grew into something great. So she took this really, really bad moment and made it her best yet to come. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So I took that and I ran with it. I was like, okay, God, I don't know what you're telling me, but I'm gonna do it, So that was kind of my journey to opening up my own modeling studio. I was like, in my studio, we do modeling, acting, body arts, and theater. And nobody here offers that at all. Not all in that same package. So I was extremely excited about that. Now,
my God, that's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. So, and my kids love it. It's been growing, and I actually opened it up during the pandemic. And I don't
Yeah,
have like bukus of clients, but we have enough, right? I have a staff, we're moving, we're
absolutely.
growing. We have our second fashion show coming up in September. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So my journey to becoming a confidence coach,
Hmm.
that's kind of a big one for me. So um I definitely lost all of my confidence. Like I said, I was modeling up until about 19, immediately got pregnant after I got married.
Uh-huh.
And it was a big slap in the face because I gained all this weight, never been big in my life, right? Gained all this weight, never had an issue with gaining or losing weight.
Hmm.
And then I'm stuck in a house, like not stuck, but I was a
Right.
stay-at-home mom. We had 4 kids in 3 years. So it definitely was not worth me trying to
Girl,
work anybody's job.
y'all were busy.
Right. Definitely busy. So, you know, so I was a stay-at-home mom, and
Yeah.
I definitely lost all of my confidence. I felt like, well, I'm gonna be real with you. So my husband and I got married at 19. There was definitely infidelity in our marriage. I was
Hmm.
going through a mental abusive relationship, physical abuse, um, emotional abuse. And
Hmm.
for me to be carrying a child and going through all of that, it stripped me of everything.
Right.
Like, like I felt like a burn patient. You know how you see like a burn patient
Oh,
and they're just all of their skin is just gone, melted off.
right.
That's exactly what I felt like on the inside. And
Right.
trying to struggle through that, raise children and stay married and work on me. And you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I lost everything. Like it was unbearable for me. Um, I couldn't, I had thoughts of taking my own life, but I couldn't because I had 4 children and I
Hmm.
just couldn't see myself leaving them because I was selfish and them, you know what I'm saying? Like I tore with myself so much over that. And
Right.
it was awful. But moving past that, once I started seeing my children question their skin color, definitely my girls. Once I started seeing them question their skin color, questioning their shape. Now, my husband is the same size as when we got married, right? Because we were the
Yeah.
same size when we got married. So their jeans, they're small.
Hmm.
But for them to say, hey, I think I'm fat, I think, my hair should look this way, or can I get extra hair added in, or can I
Yeah.
change this about my skin? Like my daughter literally asked me, Mom, is there anything I can do to make my skin lighter? And
Oh,
she's like 3 or 4 shades lighter than me. And it was
wow.
devastating. And I'm like, okay. So I literally like hid away all of my emotions, everything that I felt about me. And I started lying to myself and saying, I don't have to love myself in order to love other people. I don't have to love how I look. I don't have to love my weight. I don't have to love, my hair or my skin color because I hated
Mhm.
all of those things about me. And I learned to ignore them. Like I learned to look in the mirror and only look at my shirt or my earrings or my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like I learned to ignore certain parts of my body that I
Mhm.
was not comfortable with. So
Yeah.
I hid all that away. And once I started seeing it in my girls, I was like, okay, so maybe they're seeing something that I'm letting off that I didn't know
Yeah.
I was letting off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Even
do.
though we fool ourselves, kids are very intuitive. Like they're very, very aware of
Right.
everything, even when we think they're not listening or watching us.
Hmm.
So that was it for me. And then
Yeah.
definitely like my baby girl, she she was born with this great personality. I mean, even when she was a baby, like I think I have like a 2-year-old picture of her. She came out
Hmm.
of my room. I mean, she came out of the bathroom. She took a bath. She had on her panties and she did like this pose in front of the mirror. And she's like, "Can you send this to me, Mom?" And I was like, that's kind of like child porn. I can't send that, like I can't send that over my phone, you know? But I
Yeah.
did. But my mom, like, we all just loved the zeal that she had about who she was and what she looked like.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now she's going to the 6th grade, 7th grade. She's going to the seventh
Hmm.
grade and it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Like, she asked me, can she get her hair a certain way? I let her do it. But then I see that she likes certain clothes. Then she tries to cover it up. She tries to hide her body.
Right.
She doesn't feel like she's as pretty as the other girls. She hides in her room a lot. And I'm like, when did that light go out? You know, like I don't know when that light went out. You know what I'm saying? Because now, once we got past that 2, 3, 4, 5 year old, now they're in the public. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now I can't
Absolutely.
control everything that's being deposited into them.
Right.
So that was it for me. I said, you know what? I love who I am, regardless of my weight, regardless of
Mhm.
whatever's going on with me, regardless of my circumstances. If I don't deal with me, I can't help my girls. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't have a modeling studio. I can't encourage other people because
Mhm.
I don't believe what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that was my journey to becoming a confidence coach because
Wow.
I love encouraging other people. I love boosting other people. I believe that anybody can do anything. My husband tells me, you know, I'm kind of what's the word? Not passive, but oh, I can't think of the word. He tells me all the time, naive. I'm very naive because
Okay.
I
Okay.
see the best in people, like immediately. Like
Mhm.
if I meet you, I'm gonna think you're awesome. You're great. I trust
Absolutely.
you. I love you. You
Yeah.
know, like whatever you tell me, I'm gonna take it for granted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything
Mhm.
you say, I'm gonna be on your every word.
Right.
And he's like, Ebony, the world isn't like that. But we can create the world to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like we can encourage the
Absolutely.
world a revolution. We can start our girls believing, hey, that girl beside you, she's just as great as you are. And you're going to
Yes.
compliment each other in any kind of way that you can. You know, so that was my journey. So now I
Right.
also volunteer at Girls Inc., you know, and I help motivate them and I
Mhm.
help push them. And I just love it. Like any way that I can, I invest back into the youth, I invest back into our community.
Mhm.
And that's been my journey to becoming a confidence coach because
Confidence coach.
I need everybody to believe, you know, have this confidence because without it, everything that we went through during the pandemic is going to keep happening. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Thank
need
you so much
everybody.
for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Wow. What would you say if somebody's, listening right now and they're going, "Oh my God, I could really use some help with getting my confidence back." What was your process? I mean, because it's not, we all know it's not as easy as going, "Oh, my daughter's recognizing this in me, and overnight I now have confidence." How did
No.
you look at yourself in the mirror again and go, "I love me and I am going to be the best me in this body, in this skin," and not see yourself as that burn patient anymore?
Right. My best friend, now my mom has been telling me this for years, you know, Ebony, you're beautiful, Ebony, you're beautiful. But we don't take it from our parents. We don't take it from our spouses or aunts or whoever, because we
Mhm.
feel like they owe us that. You know, they're definitely gonna say,
Yeah,
you are great. You know what I'm saying? So it's
right.
like, okay, whatever. My best friend mom, I was up to 308 pounds.
Mhm.
And my best friend came to visit her mom and we, you know, we met up. And so her mom saw me. Now, this is a woman who's been seeing me since I was in seventh grade. So she knows everything about me, my whole life story, you know. And she
Yeah.
looked at me, she said, Ebony, she said, are you happy? And I knew she wasn't talking about my life, you know, she
Mhm.
was just saying physically. And she was like, are you happy? And I was like, you know, no, I'm a little uncomfortable. Like, you know, obviously
Right.
I'm uncomfortable in my clothes or whatever. And she was like, you deserve to feel and look the way you want to.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it stuck with me. Like it hit home more than anything has ever hit home to me before.
Mhm.
So now this was also during the time I had lost my job. And I immediately said, okay. So I wasn't focusing on looking for a job. I was
Mhm.
focusing on me. I woke up every morning. I went to the gym. I told my husband for my birthday, this is what I want. I want a gym membership.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, but it has to be like a 2 partner membership. Like you have to go with me every day. He
Mhm.
started going with me. Even when we were working, you know, I would wait. He would wait for me because he gets off at like 3 or 4. I don't get off like 5 or 6. He would wait on me to get home. We went immediately to the gym. So then I started Googling and looking up affirmations. I started
Yeah.
meditating, you know, and don't get me wrong, like I'm a Christian, my husband's a preacher, but and I'm not knocking Christianity. I love, you know, I pray all the time, but I've been a Christian my whole life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Mhm.
there was something I had to take a different avenue. I started meditating,
Yeah.
started taking my time for me. I started honing in on the things that I hated about myself. So then I started voicing all of them, right? I started writing them down. This is what I hate.
Mhm.
I journaled it. You know, I hate this, I hate that, I don't like this, I can change this, I want to do this to my body, I want to do this to my personality, because I'm that type of person, like I'm an acquired taste, even in my personality. Like, so I hated the fact that I don't make friends as easy as everybody else does. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't draw people to me. And that was just me, right? That's just how I felt and how I think. That doesn't make it
Right.
reality. That was just
So
my
true.
feeling.
Yeah.
Right. So I wrote down all of that. I wrote it all down. So then on the other side of the page, I wrote down everything that was great about me, everything that was wonderful about me, everything that was perfect about me.
Mhm.
And then I put them together because I am imperfectly, perfectly made. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm perfectly
Absolutely.
imperfect. And I
Yes.
had to realize that. And you're right, it didn't happen overnight. But I kept telling myself, hey, and the more I told myself the things that I liked about me,
Mhm.
that page that had everything negative about me, I never went back to it. Because
Yeah.
now I know how to change my verbiage. Now I know how to think on purpose. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Yeah.
when I start thinking about, oh my God, I'm drowning, I'm overworked, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too tired, I'm too exhausted to do this. So I'm too exhausted. And that's the problem. Like sometimes I get too exhausted to invest in me.
Mhm.
So you definitely have to take that time out. So in the mornings, that was my time. You
Yeah.
know, that was my investment in Ebony time, because we
Mhm.
invest in everything else, right? We invest in a home, a future. We invest in stocks, bonds, everything else. We try to make our future great, but we never try to make us great. And you can't have a great future without making you great first.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
true.
so that
Yeah.
was my that was my working on me. Like I literally, you know, I didn't add in extra hair, I didn't do makeup, I didn't, you
Mhm.
know, I didn't buy clothes, like I didn't try to cover things up. I took
Yeah.
me for who I was. You know, I told my husband and my girls, hey, I'm going natural for a while. I mean, I'm already natural, but normally I like wear a crochet or some weave or sew in or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, no, like I need to face who I am. And
Mhm.
this is what I need to love, right? Because it's
Yeah.
easy to love that person that we're enhancing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
easy to love that person that we're adding stuff to
Right.
make us feel a certain way. I needed to
Absolutely.
strip everything away, just like I did with my emotions, and learn to love everything physically as well as emotionally about
Oh, that's really powerful. Wow. I love that. So when I love like I wanted to smile when you were talking about theater. I taught high school theater for 24 years. And when you're talking about your kids are looking up and they're seeing this example and they're into modeling, they're into theater, they're into the body art and everything,
me.
but yet they're looking in the mirror questioning their skin color. Can your skin be lighter? Is there a component of I want them to follow in the performance in theater because there you can take on any identity that you want. And it's almost like when you play these roles, the possibility, the door for possibility opens, especially for African Americans, right? Because most of the time, like I grew up in a time where I didn't come from money. I came from people who worked their tails off from check to check, all those things. And I didn't see these people making a whole lot of money. And I didn't see the possibility of who I could be in this world
Right?
until theater. And I was like, oh my God, your imagination is so incredible. You can be anybody that you want. And I take
Definitely.
that whole methodology of reinventing from theater. That's how I work with my clients. How do you use that with your kids?
Man, like I tell you're right. I tell them they can be any and everything they want to be.
Mhm.
My kids did two of the biggest shows that we had here in Chattanooga. They were in Lion King and The Wiz, and it was an all black. Well, The Wiz was an all black cast,
Yeah.
and um, when we literally had to do like an encore show, right? So then when we did The Lion King,
Mhm.
my daughter got to play. My baby girl got to play Baby Nala.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, she got to play Simba's mom. And, you know, my boys were in the cast. Well,
Mhm.
at school, the school they were in, they also wanted to do like a junior Lion King. Well, my daughter
Mhm.
got to play Simba. Not Simba, she had to play Scar.
Okay.
And to me, that was the most awesome role ever because it showed her there's no gender, no race, no
Mm.
restrictions on who you can be in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
for them to embrace you as a person and not as a figment of what they want you to be. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like
Absolutely.
don't put yourself in one category. Allow yourself to be open. Allow yourself to be in sorry, allow yourself to be poured into. And that's
Yeah.
what I tell them even at home. Like don't close yourself off to possibilities because you feel like you may not be, and I take this for myself too. Like don't
Hmm.
close yourself off from possibilities because you feel like you're not worthy of this opportunity.
Hmm.
Because the person that you're comparing yourself to, they had to start in the same place you're starting in, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
everybody has common ground. We all have to start from somewhere. So we can't manipulate our mind to thinking I'm not worthy of something, or I shouldn't be available for this, or I shouldn't be open to this, because it doesn't matter. And just like in theater, you can be anything, whatever, you can be everything you want. Right there, you don't have
Absolutely.
to just be a lawyer. You can be a doctor, a fireman, a police officer, whatever, a lioness, anything you want. African, Chinese, Japanese, and they love it. And I love that
Hmm.
they love that. Even in our fashion shows, we create everything that they wear in all of our fashion shows. We
Yeah.
created from scratch. And I love the fact that their minds, even my oldest son, he's an artist. He likes to draw, and he
Hmm.
he loves doing like robotics, and he wants to be an engineer. So they're very into anything that they can create, anything they can put their hands on. And I have to remind them of that all the time. Your mind is the same way. Your body is the same way.
Yeah.
Anything that you want your body to do or perform, anything that you want your mind to do or perform or create, it can do it. Just like your hands can, right?
Right.
So,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, when you went through this whole process, I mean, because kids give you so much leverage, right? That really is your why, because you want them to have a better life than you had. You want them to be better than you ever were, right? And so it's kind of like you saw the example of your friend who did this thing that was sort of like a catalyst, right? But I know that there was still moments of feeling that inner rejection, right? And overcoming that. And then every now and then your daughter says something, your son might say something. How do you keep quieting that inner rejection that sometimes that we all face, and especially it's like, because a lot of African Americans, I mean, I have been guilty myself of going, things might be a little easier if I was white, and
Right.
then we're going, oh, that inner rejection that we think we're rejected before we even step and put ourselves out there and exceed our own expectations,
Right.
right? How does Ebony do that?
Oh my goodness. So what I do is after I say it or think it, and it's easy to do it because it's like in a split second. It happens so
Mm,
quick. Oh my God, I can't do this. Or oh my God, this door is not gonna open for me. I have a
right.
great example. So I started a new job, right? I got a new job, and I saw there was a need there. And
Hmm.
I went to my office manager and I said, hey, we don't have this certain position in our office. Every medical office I've ever been in has had this position. Allow me to step into that role and help you better and help the office flow better.
Right.
And my resume, I even, asked people from my last job if they could send me a recommendation. Other doctors that I've worked for, they sent me recommendations. And I gave it to her, and she was like, oh, okay, I'm going to take it to HR and, see what they say and see if we
Hmm.
can open this position for you.
Right.
So she comes back, and well, I don't know, she came back to me, or I went to her and asked her about it. And she said, oh, well, they feel like, an RN may be better in this position. Well, the RN didn't look like me. Okay, so
Right, right.
and I'm like, and it's okay. It's not okay. I'm not gonna excuse anything,
Hmm.
but I was okay with it because the moment that I made up in my mind, I should step into this role, or I should apply for this role, or I should ask for them to create this role for me. The
Hmm.
moment I did that, I was like, no. It was, I rejected myself because I already knew that there were going to be other stipulations. But what I did was I said, if you don't do it, you know, who else is going to do it?
Well,
Or if
yeah.
you don't ask for it, somebody else is going to ask for it. Or
Yeah.
if you don't put yourself out there, they're never going to know that this is something you want. Or
Right.
if you put yourself out there and they say no, it's not going to take anything away from who you are.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's a process that I go through, literally, because if I don't, I definitely will go into that spiral and just keep
Mhm.
going all the way down, because I know
Right.
me, and I am definitely my biggest critic. We all
Right.
are.
We all are.
Right.
Absolutely.
I will come up with everything that's wrong with me, everything that, I can't do, and I don't think as fast, or I don't type as fast, or, I don't
Mm.
talk as fast, or I don't say the right words when they want me to say them. Because, working in a doctor's office can be very intimidating, but I've been doing this for years. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's like, especially by me being on a new job, I just
Right.
felt like, maybe I shouldn't step out because there are people that were there already,
Mhm.
but they hadn't approached it. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't take advantage of it. So I did.
Right.
And I was excited. I was proud. I was very proud of myself. I came home, I told my kids, told my husband, because it didn't matter if I actually got the position. What
Mhm.
mattered was I wanted to create my own experience. And I took that first step and I tried to do it. And it didn't take anything away from me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't. If it did anything, it definitely put me on their radar, right?
Mhm.
So that's all it could have done. That's the only harm or hurt. Nothing has hurt or changed. My role, my title, they didn't try to take anything away from me. And I think that's a lot of times we don't try to step out, or we don't try to even take that first step, because we think about what ifs. And the what ifs will paralyze you
Oh my God. Yeah.
way more than physical paralyzation. Like, it just will fear. Like, I don't, and it's not even, it's all us. It's all a myth. It's
Mhm.
all made up. It's
Every bit
all,
of it.
yeah, because people had to start somewhere. These same people we're needing stuff from, or we're trying to get something from, they had to
Mhm.
start somewhere just like we are.
Right.
And so we talk ourselves out of it. So I know that I will definitely do that. So it's definitely a process for me. So I try to slow my thinking down, because I definitely have ADD. So I try to make sure I'm thinking it out loud, and
Yeah.
I don't care if people hear me talking to myself out loud, but if I don't, that other inner voice will
Mhm.
kind of overtop this one. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So for me,
absolutely.
myself saying, no, Ebony, you can do this. You got this. Like, I need
Yeah.
to hear myself say that. I need to
Mhm.
hear myself encourage myself.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That's powerful. So when
Thank
you
you.
started going to the gym, you and your husband, because you just talking about the shedding of, like, I almost feel like it was like you shed this old skin, you brought on a new skin. And I just remember, like, when I go to the gym, sometimes that's the most transformational place I can go. Like, I can think, I'm usually listening to a little bit of Les Brown, and I'm just thinking, I'm in my mode, I'm in my zone. And there's something about what happens when you are transforming yourself from the inside out, right?
Hmm.
What was some of that inner monologue when you were shedding, that dead weight? And I'm not talking about your physical weight. I'm talking about you're
Right.
going to the gym and, becoming this
Yeah.
powerful woman who's sitting here.
I definitely, my thing was, I wanted to feel and look like that 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old girl did again.
Yeah.
I had so much inner strength then. And I told myself, I owed myself that,
Mm.
because if I don't give it to me, nobody else will. I mean, yeah, my husband will encourage me. He tells me all the time, oh, you look good, you're fine, you
Mhm.
sexy to me. That's all good and dandy, but that's not who you married, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not what you were attracted to when you married me. That's not who I looked like. That's not who I was mentally or emotionally. So going to the gym, my whole mental process was definitely, you owe this to yourself.
Mm.
I get my nails done. That's the only thing about I pretty much do for myself, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously, we're kids growing up and trying to run a business and do all this other stuff.
Mhm.
So to me, and I told my husband, like, you need to put that on the bill list, because that's going to be a definite every month, every 2 weeks,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So that's the only thing I do for me, right?
Yeah.
So when I was going to the gym, Ebony, if this is the only thing you do for yourself, you got it, right? If this is the only
Mhm.
hurdle you have to accomplish this week, you got it. If this is
Got it.
the only way that you can challenge yourself this week, you got it.
You
Because
got it.
after you start challenging yourself physically, it's the mental. it's easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we do. We have to start first mentally, right? But
Hmm.
sometimes when you can't even speak out loud, when you can't even, when you're in this dark space and you can't pull yourself out, the one
Hmm.
thing we do as women, right? We dress ourselves up.
Yeah.
Well, if I can put on clothes, if I can do my hair,
Right.
the rest is easy, right? It's
Right.
like a
Right.
breath, right? So
Yeah.
it's the same way. Sometimes if you can't get there mentally, if you can't get there spiritually, if you
Hmm.
can't get there, emotionally, physical would definitely help transition your body, your mental
Yeah.
state, your
Right.
spiritual state. And then vice versa. Sometimes we don't feel like getting up. So
Hmm.
we gotta talk ourselves through it, right? Sometimes
Right.
we don't feel like, loving another person. We don't feel like putting in the effort to make somebody else see who we are.
Hmm.
So we got to talk ourselves through it. We have to start with us first. So my mental shedding was definitely the fact of, Ebony, you got it. You have to conquer yourself today. And I actually put that on my Facebook a couple of times. Like, I've conquered Ebony today.
Hmm.
And that is
Nice.
definitely important.
Yeah.
Definitely important. Like, we're our biggest hurdle in everything.
It's true. It's true because we all keep ourselves trapped from fear, false evidence appearing real, and every bit of that. You said that a few minutes ago. Every bit of those starts are 100% lies. Every
All of
bit.
them.
All
Yep.
of them. Wow. So Ebony, when you are in the space, you're doing these fantastic, I mean, these exceedingly great things. You got to have somebody in addition to Daryl who goes, look, baby, I'm proud of you. Hey, Ebony, I support you. I see your vision and I'm there with you. How were you intentional about forming a support system and a tribe so that when Ebony falters a little bit, she can't pick herself up, in addition to Daryl, what does your tribe and support system look like? And were you intentional in forming that?
I was definitely intentional on forming that. I
Yeah.
have a few close friends that I didn't even tell, that, hey, I'm going to start a business. I didn't tell them I was going to start a coaching business. I didn't
Hmm.
tell them about the journey, how I got to doing those things. Now,
Right.
I do have a certain amount of friends. I have like two, maybe three, that I included in this. And they have my back 100% because I needed somebody. I'm very down on myself, right?
Mm.
And so I definitely needed somebody outside of Daryl and my mom to
Yeah.
encourage me and
Yeah.
to say, okay, no, we can't do this. Actually, one of my friends, she calls me fireworks because I get so many ideas and they just start going. And she's like, Ebony, bring it back in. We got to focus on this. We got to
Oh,
just
girl.
Right. She's
Yeah.
like, no, you got too much going on, right?
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
no, let's do one thing at a time and then we'll get to that and then we'll get to that. And then sometimes I go to that other friend, they're like, hey, let's do it. We can do all of it. What do you want to
Hmm.
do first? And then
Yeah.
we'll just start knocking stuff out. So yes, I definitely have people in place in my life who I only go to. And I was definitely intentional about that because I don't, even like I said, I have a lot of friends that
Hmm.
love me, but I may have like 10 friends in all, right?
Hmm.
So I have like three that's in that inner tight circle because
Right.
I don't want to hear, girl, don't do all that. You got 4 kids. You need to focus on raising those kids and keeping your
Right.
husband happy. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want
Hmm.
to hear you got 4 kids and a job and a husband. You need to focus on it. Like, no, I needed somebody that's gonna say, you can do that and
Yeah.
I got you. I can pick those kids up for you. I can take them to a doctor's appointment for you. I can do whatever you need me to do. I can go out and buy you a new computer or a new sound system or a new whatever. Like, I needed that kind of support.
Yeah.
I needed somebody who's gonna stay with me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and say, okay, Ebony, let me reread whatever you just wrote out or whatever you typed out, or let me help you with this website, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Hmm.
needed certain people in different areas too. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so I have those three
Absolutely.
good friends that boost me and I can go to for three different things,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
iron sharpens iron. We all know that. You always have to have somebody who you're aspiring to, right? We always have to have somebody that we're looking up to, who has goals and
Hmm.
standards that you're like, oh my God, I need to be, let me put that on my checklist. Like, let me
Right.
make sure I put my goal box. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely surround my people who are very intentional for me and help me stay intentional.
Hmm. Wow. Love that. So when you look at us, you look at our people. right? You
Mhm.
go and volunteer, you do speaking. What's the thing that if you had a microphone and you had the ear of every African American, every minority, every female who you feel like isn't living up to their full potential, their self-actualization, what would you say to them right now if you had every one of their ears?
Fire everybody around you who is not
Ooh,
honest with you. Let go of all of those relationships, even if it's your mom, if it's your best friend, if
mm,
it's your pastor, anybody who is not 100% honest with you doesn't love you. Those people, they keep us where we are. You
yeah,
know, it's either for their comfort or they think they're doing what's best for us. Either way, it's definitely not going to help you grow, right? We need somebody who's
yeah.
definitely going to push you to the edge and then say, I got a parachute. Let's dive out together. Because
Wow, yeah.
yeah, like my whole thing with the confidence building and for the girls and the women, um, I need every woman to grab somebody's hand next to them and just be like, I love you. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I am in your garden, right? I will
Yeah,
help you plant. I will help you grow. I will help you pick. I will help you clean. Whatever you need me to do, right? Because in a
yeah,
garden we have so many different things growing. We have
yeah.
cabbages. We have roses. We have
Mhm.
greens. We have whatever potatoes,
Right.
fruit, everything. Like so, whatever you need me to do, if you need me to till the ground and break it up for you, because we do. We need somebody who's going to go over there and get their hands dirty.
Hmm.
And you have to be that person for the person next to you.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to continue the same cycles. Our girls are going to continue to come home and not like the way they look. Or their light is going to continue to go out of their eyes. Even for our guys. Like I have two boys. I don't need them to come home thinking something is wrong with them because they left my my circle, because they left out of my
Right.
box. Like
Right.
I need you to teach your kids the same thing that I'm teaching mine. I need
Hmm.
everybody to feel the same way and boost each other the same way. Because at the end of the day, we don't know when our last day is. We've seen it.
Very
We've seen
true.
it already.
Yeah.
We've lived it. We're still living through it. We don't
Hmm.
know what's going to happen. We don't know when we're going to be able to take our next breath. We don't know if we're going to go into another pandemic.
Right.
So if the person that's sitting beside you isn't 100% real with you, like my friend, hey, Ebony, we can't do all that right now. We can't put on 3 shows this month. Like we don't
Yeah.
have $8,000 to throw into just a fashion show.
Hmm.
No, I need somebody to say, hey, you misspelled something on Facebook. Can you go on there and correct that? Hey, Ebony, I think, that's not really a good color on you today. Let's change that. Like, that's what we need. Hey,
Yeah.
no, that business adventure, I don't think that's, secure.
Hmm.
Let's not try that. Or let's go about it a different way. Or
Yeah.
hey, Ebony, let's work on your credit score. I see that you're spending a lot. I see that you're eating out a
Yeah.
lot. I see that you're buying your kids fast food a lot. Like those are the people we need. We need somebody who's definitely going to say, "Hey, let me check you," because we don't check ourselves. We get
No.
comfortable, we get complacent,
Mhm.
and we get relaxed.
Yeah.
No, that's what I would say to whoever's listening. Definitely, definitely be
Perfect.
intentional about
Those are
who's around
perfect. Oh my God. Yeah. Dropping it. So,
you.
Evan, I didn't know what a life coach was until probably 15 years ago. That is not
Mhm.
something that is prominent in my
No,
culture, probably in our culture. I
right,
mean, I have family members, I have best friends who are like, "What you do again? People pay you for that?
right.
What I need that for?" You know,
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
what, $600 for a relationship? And I was like, that's cheap for a
Right.
relationship,
It
you know?
is. It
So
is.
your argument, what is your stance about the need for our people to realize the importance of having that mentor, having that life coach, what do you stand on? What's that foundation for Ebony?
let me tell you, my whole life journey, at some point, we all need a counselor, right?
Yeah.
So after that counselor is done with you, after that psychiatrist is done with you, you need somebody that's saying, okay, now that you've dealt with those issues, you've dealt with those problems, you know where the root is. You need somebody to say, hey, I got you. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's get up. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. You need that pusher. My main thing was after I realized, because I have a life coach. So after I realized, okay, there's something wrong with me. It's spilling over. My kids are noticing. People are noticing. I was ready to get started, but I needed somebody in my corner saying, hey,
Absolutely.
go. You sleep? Okay, you got 2 hours. Get up. Let's go.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready. Like, they can't pump and prime you. You have to already have that in your mind. And I think our people don't realize the importance of having somebody who has nothing connected with you, no strings attached, no motive behind what they're doing. You need somebody to say, hey, I trust you. I believe in you. I know you can do it. And let's go get it. Yeah. And it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Because sometimes even me, like, even after my journey, even after everything I know, even after all of my research and everything, even I still get in this complacent mindset where I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's next. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to tackle next. I don't know, if I got it to keep going. I call my life coach. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Can you help me with this next step? What are some strategies that you think I should be putting in place? Even though I'm a life coach, I'm a confidence coach.
Right.
I'm not a life coach. Like, that's two different things. I need somebody to help me keep my life on track. Right. Because I have a lot of different moving particles, So I definitely think just like psychology is important, our health is important. A life coach is definitely important.
So important. Wow.
It
is. So yeah, because I have my own coach as well. I got a business coach, I've got a life coach. And so yeah, you gotta have, because it's so different that I can see their blind spots. I can't see my own.
That's true.
I can't. And so like the things that I work through with them, I go, that's so easy. Why aren't you doing that? And then I go, oh, well, why am I not doing that? Because I
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ebony, who's your target audience, and how do people come to work with Ebony? What is it that they're coming to you with? Like, not just because most of them don't come and say, I just need my confidence. What are the things, what are the words that they're using? And you're like, I got you.
My clients normally come to me and say, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it. I just don't know if I can do it. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
They know that they're capable, but they don't know if they have everything that they're looking at this other person. Right. They don't know if all this zeal in life that's in this person that they have in them. So when you come to me, that's my target.
Yeah.
What is it that what is it that you're keeping that you don't want to let go of? Right? Yeah. Because we've all been through it. We all know, even though we've released everything, or we feel like we've released everything, there's that closet, right? There's that closed door, there's that kitchen door or that back swing. There's something that happened back there that we're saying, let me, I'm not really ready to relinquish it. Yeah. And so that's what I try to pull out.
Okay. Right. We're all holding on to that solution that we created because it worked for us when we were 7, and then in another way it worked when we were 12, and then we keep repeating that, and go, oh, just like the kid who throws it. When you see them at 6 and they're throwing a tantrum in the store because they can't get a toy that they want.
Oh my God, yes.
Right? And I go, oh my God, that person's gonna be Donald Trump, president, throwing a tantrum.
Definitely. And you're right. We see that so much in adults. That's exactly how they get it done. They throw tantrums when you're like, you're grown. Yeah. Figure it out. There's different ways to get what you want. Right. Yeah. Oh my God. That's so true. That's hilarious. That
Oh
is
my
so
goodness.
true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ebony, just one
Hold on to it.
final thing, how can people connect with you? Like they have issues, they're like, I know what I need to do, but I don't know how to do it. I need to get out of my own way. How can they find Ebony?
I have a website
Mhm.
and it is going live tonight actually. And it's
Whoa.
right. I'm excited about that. So it's purposeful thinking 360.
Ooh, okay. Purposeful
Right.
thinking 360. I love that because that's
Thank
what
you.
it's all about. If we can control our thoughts, then we can control the words that come out of our mouths. Then we can control and actually make meaningful actions in this world.
That's right. Yep.
Yes. Ebony, this has been a blast. I love the
Thank
conversation
you.
that we just had. And I know that people are going to find a lot of value out of it. So thank you so much for being here with us and sharing so
Thank
much of your
you.
knowledge.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This was such an honor and a pleasure for me to even be on your show. So thank you so much for having me as well.
Perfect.
If you like what you're hearing, and perhaps you're interested in having a complimentary conversation with me, click the link at the bottom of the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. If you even want to know more about what I'm up to, head over to traviastewart.com. And if you like seeing the videos of the podcast, every episode is on my YouTube channel. Take care, guys.